Hey everyone, welcome to the King Ugly Crew podcast. Today we'll be talking about spooky stories in our lives. We've all had quite a few, and today we have with us is Baron, Dane, Griffith, Lonnon, and we've got our oldest sister, Skyla, joining us tonight. I'm actually going to throw it over to her so she can do a little intro of herself and her family. Skyla.
Hey, so I'm Skyla McKay. I used to be Skyla Jensen, obviously, but I got married. I got married to our across the street neighbor about 24 years ago, and he joined the Navy and was in the Navy for 20 years. And so we've lived in New York, Hawaii, Maine, South Carolina. We have two awesome girls, a 13-year-old swimmer and a 10-year-old horse rider. And
oh my gosh, I can't believe she's 13 and 10. Blows my mind.
I know. I
didn't know she was a horseback rider. That's awesome.
I didn't either. I was about to say the same thing.
It's pretty new. Like, she just started about 10 weeks ago, but she's in heaven. So we're probably going to continue it. I am a photographer. I was also a substitute teacher for about 4 years. I was also a fitness instructor for about 4 years. And right now I am kind of a research assistant for a physician's assistant. And I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I like lots of different things and do lots of different things. So
welcome to being a Jensen, Skyla. Jack of all trades.
Yeah. And trivia. I love trivia.
That's because she has to know it all.
Well, we just always want to keep learning. Like, there's so much in the world to know that if you stop learning, you're missing out on so much.
And your brain is dying.
Well, yeah, but some people don't care.
I do. I like knowledge.
I like knowledge. So yeah, that's me. So we're talking about spooky stories today. And since I'm the oldest girl, I probably remember more of them than anybody else. But the house that we lived in that I remember the most was our house in Twin Falls, Idaho, the one across the street from my now husband's family. And it was a classic 90s split level. So you walked into the house, into the living room, and you're in the living room. And if you look to the right, it's the kitchen. And if you look to the left, it's stairs. And you can either go up one staircase to the top floor, or you can go down two staircases to the second and third bottom floors. So our downstairs was the playroom. And basically it's a basement. It was a cave. There was one tiny little window that let in zero light.
Yeah, like wouldn't be allowed today because of no regress.
And after we built the deck?
Yeah, and after we built the deck, no light at all.
No light at all.
Just to give everyone an idea, I was born in this house. So that was 29 years ago.
Not in the house. Yeah, not in the house.
No.
But we lived there when you were born.
Correct.
We're not that exciting, guys. We're not that exciting.
Oh, so don't want that.
This playroom had no light and this weird orange shag carpet. Do you guys remember that carpet?
No.
Oh, yeah.
When we first moved in, yes.
Yeah. It took a couple years before we got the new carpet down there. But that was our playroom. And if we were all downstairs together, it was no big deal. We make so much noise together that like nothing spooky could get through.
What are you talking about? 10 kids? Noise? No, not at all.
Well, that's the thing. It was never just 10 kids. It was never just our family. It was our family plus the neighborhood. Like, you had Mike, you had Jory, you had Todd, you had Doug, you had Nick, you had like Mutt. Like, everybody was at our house all the time. Mom would be like, all right, how many people am I feeding tonight?
And Skyla's boyfriend of the month.
Burn.
No, I used to remember you dating a lot of people.
Yeah, well, well, I did. And I figured out, oh, hey, what I want is really just right here. It's a happy thing. Anyway, so if we're all downstairs together, no big deal. But if you had to go downstairs by yourself, it was like, you gotta psych yourself up. Okay, I'm gonna go. And then you would run as fast as you could, and it'd be like down the stairs, and you would grab whatever you had to grab, and then you'd like up the stairs, and as fast as you could, because you knew something was chasing you up those stairs.
Well, and the stuff we stored was like,
it was the spookiest
you had
thing.
one side of the house was where the stairs were at, and where the stuff was stored, it was on the other side of the house.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was a good, probably, a good 30, maybe 40 feet, right? And a
least.
door. And a door.
That's a huge room.
And a
Huge.
door
Well,
that
I
you
mean,
had. The door
it
was on
was
the
a
left,
huge
wasn't it? So you had
house.
to go into that door on the left, run all the way to the right where the little closet was, run back through that door, and then to the stairs.
Yes. Yeah, and something was chasing you, just knew it. But I imagine, like you said earlier, Lonnon, I think that that's just something that everybody feels about basements. Basements are scary.
So does that mean half basements are only half as scary?
No, because ours was a half basement.
Dad joke.
No. Half basement was, so like the kids lived in the rooms in the half basement. Then it was a full basement downstairs.
Yes. And that was the worst dad joke I might have ever heard.
It was great.
It was terrible. But we were really good at freaking ourselves out. Like super good at freaking ourselves out.
Yeah, so I know it was a huge popular movie back then. The movie written by Stephen King.
Starring Tim Curry.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about that, because I guarantee you guys watched that, didn't you?
Wait, real quick. Tim Curry was the clown?
Tim Curry was Pennywise the clown.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Oh my goodness. No, I cannot see him as anything but Pennywise.
He is Pennywise. Holy cow. Tim Curry is the king of freaky.
Wait, so he's the same one that was from like Home Alone 2, right? He was the guy that was the...
Yes.
Okay.
He was the snooty guy.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, so real quick.
And Rooster from Annie and Cardinal Richelieu.
Have you guys seen the new one?
I have not.
No.
I've seen the first first movie, and it wasn't great.
I thought it was
in my
fantastic. I would love to go back and watch the old one again, side by side. But I thought it was really good.
Mike and I started, and it was really good.
Really scary.
We wanted to watch the old one first, and then we got halfway through it, and then it was, the middle of November, and I'm like, I want Christmas movies. So, because, it's a miniseries. It's not a it's not a movie. The original one, it was like, I don't know, like 6 hours long or something like that.
Was it really that long?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was a mini series, and Mike's dad, that's my husband. Mike is my husband. He liked to record things off of HBO, and so he had tapes of like everything. And so we watched it at Mike's house. I don't know how long it took us to watch it. I don't know if we watched it all in one night. But at the time, all of us were working for Dad. We were hot gluing rubber spacers onto these glass electrodes. All right, guys, explain a glass electrode.
Glass tube filled with gas with a little electrical piece on the top, 2 little wires hanging out. When you fill it with the gas, you've got to cap that gas off so it can't get out. If you break off the end, then it's no good. You can't use it anymore because it will not conduct electricity.
And they were $30 a piece.
Mhm.
That was back in the early 90s.
And
Yep.
just so everybody knows, it was 192 minutes, so 3 hours.
Oh, man,
That's
felt
it.
like
I
longer
thought it
than
was
that.
longer too.
Well, we were young. We were young.
We were young.
That's a long movie for then, anyways. Back then,
Yeah.
it's a long movie.
So we were putting these rubber spacers, hot gluing them onto these glass tubes. And we were doing it in the garage. We were working for my dad over the summer, making extra money. And of course, we're teenagers and kids. And so we're procrastinating really well. And so we've watched this movie, but Dad said we had to have these electrodes done by tomorrow. So it's dark in the summertime in Idaho. So it's after 10. I don't know what time it is, but it's after 10. So because it's dark. So we go into our garage and are messing around with each other. We're trying to freak each other out and, just messing with each other's minds.
We are working with these electrodes. I mean, like, we have them on our lap. They're glass tubes, not very thick, very
And
fragile.
hot glue guns. We're not talking about like the crafting hot glue guns. We're talking about like industrial hot glue guns that you get that glue on you and you have a blister for a week.
And these glass tubes are 6 feet long, roughly.
No. So they're 38 inches long.
3. They're about 3 feet long.
My apologies.
But we also had to cut the spacers, and the spacers were made out of neoprene, and we had this razor blade. It was cut at an angle that would cut the spacers.
Yeah.
And so we had razor blades all in this as well.
Yeah, hot glue, glass, razor blades, super safe working environment. Anyway.
Perfect for kids.
So we're all messing with each other. Yes, perfect for kids. It's really good at teaching consequences. So we're all trying to freak each other out. We've shut the garage door at a certain point, and we're working, and it's getting really late, and we're getting really tired and really loopy. And all of a sudden, somebody goes, "Oh, did you hear that?" And we're all like, "No, we didn't hear a thing." And so we're listening really closely, and then we hear bang, 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 and we're like, "Whoa!" And then we hear this maniacal laughing. like it's
Oh my goodness,
scary
it was
laughing.
scary as all crap.
It was it wasn't like my laugh just now. It was terrifying. And we all just erupt out of the garage. And those of us that were holding electrodes, like, just dropped. There was shattered glass everywhere. We're running in the house. So I think I got stuck in a chair. It was either me or Power. I think I got stuck in the chair.
Because you had glass electrodes through, there was like that.
The arms
through the
of
arms.
the chair.
It was one of those like old 90s style metal armchairs that like they made like an A almost out of it, and that's where the armrests were. And
so I put the tubes through there so they wouldn't fall off my lap, and I was stuck. I couldn't figure out. I was so scared I couldn't figure out. Hey, you have to pull them to get them out. So I'm stuck in the chair and I'm watching, and Dane has just weaved through every single whole electrode in that garage. Like, it was the most ballet thing I have ever seen in my life. He was at top speed, but he did not touch one single electrode in that entire garage.
Yeah, I didn't want to break them.
Exactly. We were in the house before any of us realized Skyla was stuck out there, but none of us wanted to go back.
Yeah, and I'm screaming. Everybody else freaking out. And
survival of the fittest.
Yeah, exactly. I'm dead. And Mom comes downstairs and is livid, because this was either when she was pregnant with Sari or
she was probably livid anyway, because
I can't remember if this was.
I mean, we were up pretty late. Yeah, and I'll bet it was.
I think this was around 11 or 11:30.
And Dad probably, was like, "You guys got to get that done. It doesn't really matter." And she probably wasn't very happy about it, say that type of a deal. So that didn't help anything.
And then it turns out that it was Mike's sister banging on the garage door so that she could tell him he had to come home. But it was the scariest moment in my life.
Everything that led up to that. I mean, Skyla, didn't you prank Mike or something like that?
Oh yeah, before we closed the garage door, I had held on. You know how when you have a non-electronic garage door, you just pull it down and push it up to get it to go up and down. Well, I grabbed onto it and kicked my legs out, and he swears that I levitated. Like, he swears that something was pulling me out because I was screaming and trying to freak him out, which apparently I did. And I think it might have been the last time in our entire lives that I freaked him out. But freaked him out, and we were messing around with each other. We were just trying to get each other scared, and we succeeded.
I think, was Jory there?
Yeah, Jory was there.
I remember all of us just doing little things to try and scare everybody, and then the whole crescendo was Marcy banging on that garage door, and none of us, it was like everybody was in the garage. Everybody, could see everybody else, and to have somebody come bang on the garage door and then just start laughing
in the middle of the night.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, and to clarify, it's not like we were in a neighborhood. We were at the end of a street, and there were two houses at the end of the street. It was our house and Mike's house, and then the rest of it was farmland. And so it was just like we each had a half acre.
But that door, it was like one of the old style doors. So just little bits of wind would push on that door, and it would ka-thunk, ka-thunk, ka-thunk.
Pull it down.
When she pounded on it, you had not just the pounding, but the rattling of everything.
Rattle of the glass, yes. Oh. That was the scariest moment of my life up to that point, and I for sure thought I was going to die because I could not figure out how to get out of the chair.
The only way into that garage was through the two big doors, through the kitchen, or through the back door.
Yep.
So, to Marcy's credit, there was no other way for her to get our attention, but gosh dang, she scared the crap out of us.
Yeah, and she enjoyed every second of it, too.
Yeah, that sounds like Marcy.
Baron, didn't you have a good story, a spooky story? I haven't heard it yet.
I hope it's spooky. I mean, so I was about, 18 months into my mission at this point. So I was getting near the end, and I had been in this area. It was Willits, California. So it was in the part of Northern California that they call the Emerald Triangle. There's lots of marijuana. We had these friends of ours that ended up moving while I was there, and they moved into this house. And you'd walk into this house, and there was grow lights everywhere, and you'd walk into the living room, and you'd feel like, man, it just doesn't feel right. There's something about this room. It just kind of makes your skin crawl a little bit. And you'd walk deeper into the house, and you'd walk into the bathroom, and you'd be like, oh, I just want to get out of this house. Oh my goodness. It just creeps you out. It's like that nasty, I need to get out of here. Something's going to happen to me type of
Like
thing.
you're just like super uncomfortable. I get what you're saying.
Absolutely. Like, so we're missionaries. So we walk in, we're like, oh, okay, well, it can't be that bad. I mean, really, it can't be that bad. And this family's been talking to us about this house for like the week they've been in it, about how they've seen things and how they feel things and how they wake up and they see eyes. And I'm like, well, I remember these experiences from Skyla telling stories. So me personally, I've never really had this, but you would walk into their house and it just felt off. I mean, just something wasn't right. So we started in the family room and we just blessed the house. I mean, it was a very simple prayer. He just asked the spirits to leave or whatever. I got to the point because we blessed the house and it didn't feel a whole lot different. And so we would specifically ask those spirits that were there to leave. I mean, I don't know what church doctrine there is on this, but I mean, we just were trying to do whatever we could to make the family feel like the house could feel right here. And we went from the front room, which was the least creepy of all the rooms, to each and every single bedroom. And then we got to the very, very back bedroom, and it was like a 4-bedroom house. And it was a master bedroom. We walked into the master bathroom after blessing the master bedroom, and the power went out in the house. Just
Oh.
No
out of
way.
nowhere. I mean,
No
just
way.
pitch black.
Oh, I just got goosebumps there.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
so all of us, like there's 3 teenage girls, 2 guys, all of us are just screaming getting out of this house. I mean, we're like doing everything we can because the freaking power went out. Well, come to find out that breaker broke and it popped. So we turned the breaker back on because we had turned on every single light in this house. This house was from like 1940. I know it was old, but we went back into this master bathroom and it still just didn't feel right. So we ended up blessing that room again. And I think we went back and forth. This was like the family that took care of us missionaries, like did our laundry for us. We didn't have dinner. We'd go to their house for dinner. When I actually moved back up there, they're who I partially lived with. But this house just never felt like home. I mean, we all have our homes. We all feel comfortable places. And this house was like, you know what? I'll be fine if we can leave. And it was never felt right. It was like some really satanic crap had happened there. But yeah, power going out, no bueno. That was the scariest moment of our lives.
No.
Holy cow. Like, I don't know. I would have been screaming like a girl. No doubt about it.
No, thank you.
Well, okay, so let's put this into perspective. We have me, my companion who's been out for a year, and then we have the mom and the dad, 2 teenage girls, and 12-year-old son. We're all like huddled around in the master bath and bedroom, and the power goes out, and it's just screams and squeaking, and I mean we have to run through the entire house because there's no freaking door except for in the front of the house, and we're all running out. And we go and check the breaker, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die. I mean, I've never felt this in our lives.
Is this when the church gave you guys flip phones, so no flashlights on the phone either?
No, we had a like BlackBerry clone. The church was cheap, so we didn't get like really fancy phones, but it was a BlackBerry type phone, but there was still no flashlight. That was pretty scary. That and yet again, it was like the Skyla experience with the electrodes. We were all so stunned by the freaking power going out after having like an exorcist in this house that we were just whatever we could to get out of the house, like tripping over each other. I mean, if there had been more people, somebody would have gotten trampled to death. So
Survival of the fittest.
it was
Run,
good
baby,
times.
run.
You don't have to be the fastest. You just got to be faster than the slowest.
Listen, I had a glass seatbelt on.
Hey,
what do you want
could've
from
walked.
me?
I'm sure you could have figured out some sort of crab call or something.
Not when my brain shut off. Oh my goodness. Bear,
Well,
that's creepy.
That's nuts. That's just crazy.
So the family in that house, they saw eyes and stuff?
Yeah, so there was like a week leading up to this, and they would just tell us these experiences about how they would have a glass sitting on the counter, and the next thing they'd know, the glass got pushed off the counter full of fluids or whatever, and how they would all go to bed for the night and then come back and the refrigerator door would be open for no reason.
Ooh, that sounds so familiar.
I think we need a mic on this one for the house and twin when you're done, Bear.
Well, and it was really those experiences from the house of twin that from all the older kids expressing what they felt in that house. And I was like, well, you know what? I've never had these experiences, but I believe they exist. I mean, we believe in spirits. So yeah, I'll go over there. But it was just all of these. We see eyes. We feel like there's somebody touching us. We feel like there's this screaming in our back of our minds all the time. Get out of my house. I mean, that was something that all of the people would recount to me. Each one of the persons that lived in the house was, every time I walk in my room, it's get out of my room. And they'd tell me this story about how it's get out of my room. And they'd all tell me this differently. I mean, and then they'd be like, we saw this little girl, like ghost image type thing in the house. I mean, yeah,
Dude,
I mean, this house was
seriously cringing right now. Like, that's so creepy. Like, to have something touch you.
Let's backtrack with this house. I mean, so it was formerly a grow house. There's grow lights everywhere in the house. And they had talked about how the family that lived there before was like into witchcraft, and they ran into what's that like evil game
Ouija board?
thing? The Ouija board.
Ouija, yep.
They found a Ouija board in the house, and they just that house was
opened the
evil.
portal. They opened the portal with that board.
Oh, dude, no, thank you.
Oh, and I couldn't agree more. And I've never been in a house that felt as bad as that house did. It was just bad.
So they probably played Bloody Mary in the bathroom.
Oh, you said it one time. You've said it one time.
No more. No
Bloody
one
Mary,
says it
Bloody
for the
Mary.
rest.
Lonnon, you
How
don't
dare
play
you.
with things like that.
He's
Don't
not in
do
front
it.
of a mirror.
Yeah, there's no mirror in my office anywhere. I do have an art.
Well,
deco
there's-
house
a positive.
You have a computer screen. But yeah, so we used to see stuff like that too, Baron. Like we would go outside and play what we called LA tag. Basically, LA tag was what we just played tag, and then whoever got tagged is now on
Exactly.
the tagger's
Sardines.
team.
Yeah, I think that's what they call it now. Sardines is
Yeah.
like all the people call it.
No, because sardines, if you tag somebody, like everybody's it except one person who goes and hides. And then, because we played it both ways.
No, we played it where
played it
one
like
person was it,
sardines, and then we also
and then
played.
if you got tagged, then you would then join the person who was it.
You were a
until
tagger
everybody
instead
was
of
caught.
a taggee.
Yeah, but that wasn't sardines. Sardines is everybody hides with the original person who wasn't it instead of being the tagger. So we played both ways. I think LA tag is what we played most often, because it was always Mike and Power and Jory that were last to be tagged, and it was always me and Dane first to be tagged every time. If I was playing, it was always me first.
Yeah.
I was always the first one tagged.
I could definitely see Power winning that game often.
Mike won almost
Well, and the thing
every
is,
time.
I mean,
Well, Jory was freaking fast.
yeah, Jory was quick.
Oh yeah, all three of them were freaking fast.
But there was a lot of really good hiding spots. I mean, like it was really easy to get from our parents' deck onto the roof, which then went onto the other part of the roof. I mean, like,
Yep.
I think the first time we remember seeing it was probably Mike. Somebody went to tag him on the roof, and all of a sudden he jumps off the roof, lands on the trampoline, bounces off the trampoline, hits the ground, rolls, stands backing up, and just keeps going.
Running.
And it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to go see if I can get somebody else.
Parkour!
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, we would see like eyes, we would see floating shapes. I remember when the family was gone and I was home alone when I was 16. You know, when your parents are gone, you go sleep in their bed because they have the best bed in the house. So I was sleeping in mom and dad's bed, and I wake up and there are a pair of red eyes right over me, and I freaked out. But yeah, we would see stuff all the time. Like Power and Mike would see blue eyes floating around. I only
The
ever
kid
saw
tapping
that one
his
set of
foot
red.
up next to the chimney. Yeah.
The chimney. Yep. But it seemed like all of the craziest stuff happened to Mike when we weren't home. And so like mom would have Mike watering the plants in her bathroom because she had like succulents and stuff in the bathroom. And so she'd have Mike water them while we were gone and just keep an eye on the house. And so one time he walks in to water the plants, and there's this fan at the top of the top stairs. So again, the stairs are almost like spiral stairs, except they're not curved, they're right angles. So it's like, imagine a spiral staircase that's squares instead of circles. So this fan, it's one of the floor fans, and it's really small or low to the ground. It doesn't it's not on a stand or anything like that. It's just, it has a little.
Is it like one of those circular ones?
It's exactly
Yes.
what it is.
Okay.
With that, like
Like an industrial
A-frame
fan
It's on
kind
the
of thing.
ground. No, but not that big. And so it's sitting at the top of the stairs, which is where we left it because, you know, airflow. And Mike walks in, and this fan falls down the stairs, which holy freaky. And then it turns and falls down more stairs. And then it turns again and falls down the rest of the stairs to the basement. And
didn't he have Jory with him at that point?
Jory,
and Jory was like, I'm out of here.
Jory. Yeah, they both left. So Mike's like, the plants can wait. So Jory's like, I'm not going back to that house again. So the next day Mike
definitely would not be going back to that house. Those plants would be dead.
Yeah, just leave them. I'm done.
So the next day Mike comes in, and every single door, cupboard, and drawer is open.
Dedication.
In the entire house. Every single one. And Mike's like, crap, they just got robbed.
Is this seriously the next day this happened? After the fan? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So he walks in, and every drawer, door, cupboard, everything is open except my bedroom door. Except that's the only room that is not open. And so Mike's going around kind of shutting things, and he goes up to check, like, is there still somebody hiding? Are they in Skyla's room? So he goes to open the door, and the phone rings.
Now, this is a phone on the wall in the kitchen.
Yeah,
is this a horror movie?
This is before we had mobile phones.
Yes, it had a cord. It wasn't even the cordless phone. Like, it still had a curly cord. And so he went down to the kitchen and answered the phone. 'Cause at this point, he's practically family. And so he answers the phone, and nobody's there. And so he hangs up, and he's like, well, they probably were expecting the Jensen. So he hangs up, and he goes back up to, figure out what's going on with my room. Why is my room not open? And, just as he goes to open the door again, the phone rings again. And he's like, all right, that's creepy. And so he goes back downstairs, and he goes back downstairs, answers the phone again, and is like, hello? And there's nobody there. So he goes back up again. He's starting to get a little suspicious. And he goes back up there again and puts his finger on the doorknob. And sure enough, phone rings again. So he goes back downstairs and answers the phone. And a voice says, don't go in there. He hangs the phone up and runs out the house.
Oh my goodness.
I just was trying to figure out why he was trying to... Did he not ever watch a horror movie? You don't go to the room that's closed. You just go, that looks like the person that's hiding in that house is just going to stay there.
Very interesting fact. Mike never went in that room. Never. Not one time while we lived there. He never went in there. He was not allowed to go in there. And not just from mom and dad. I mean, not just because it was my room. There's something that would not allow him to go in that room.
Wow. Like, I guess it's just easier to be scared back in those days, or just have that mentality, yeah, there's nothing bad going to happen or something like that. Like Griffith's saying, hasn't he watched any horror movies? But I guess horror movies weren't so prevalent back then.
Probably unbeknownst to Mom.
He was
definitely wasn't good for us. But
yes, sorry, Mom. Sorry.
It's just crazy.
Like, even that case, you don't ever think, like, the people in a horror movie don't ever think, oh, I'm in a horror movie.
Yeah, true, true.
So he's not thinking, oh, this is super bad. He's thinking there's somebody hiding in here, and Mike, being Mike, is like, well, I'm gonna take care of them.
It's kind of funny. I kind of think about it now that she's talking about that. It's like I think about watching Scream for the first time, and I remember so many people were like, "Oh my goodness, it was the scariest movie ever," and I was like, "I thought it was hilarious."
Oh, it was supposed to be hilarious. I thought it was hilarious and scary.
But there was a lot of people that that's all they thought of. It was just scary, and I was like,
"It's making fun of horror movies. That's the best thing about it."
It is. But there was, I guess, I don't know. I think about it, and it wasn't as scary. I didn't really find it scary at all, but maybe that's just because I lived it so much.
Yeah, it could be. Like, but except I'm scared. I like to be scared. Let me put it that way. Just not when I'm by myself.
Okay, so wait. So then, do you like
that's a weird
the haunted horror houses?
Horror
houses.
Copy. We got it. Not the whorehouses.
Oh my gosh! Now I can't even spell. You got me laughing so hard.
Horror.
Wes Craven, not the other.
Well, because I know Baron's wife does, but I get into those things and I'm just like, eh.
Some of them.
Oh, I'm the same way. I went through one last night because it was anniversary, and I was like, I just make fun of him. I'm like, oh, your costume looks so great, man. You're such an awesome looking clown. You're fantastic.
That's a very interesting coping mechanism that you've got there, Baron.
Works for me. It makes my wife laugh.
I find the psychological one scarier. Like The Ring for me was one of the scarier ones I've seen.
Nuts. Yes, I agree with you.
M. Night Shyamalan.
The Ring isn't M. Night Shyamalan, is it?
I'm pretty sure The Ring was M. Night Shyamalan.
I
Hold
don't
on,
think
I'll
so.
look it up.
All I know is he did the Avatar Airbender, and he was terrible. So I don't like that guy
Yes.
at all.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was terrible.
But The Sixth Sense was amazing.
Oh no, it was. That's hilarious. This guy's name's Gore Verbinski, the director of that
Of The
one.
Ring?
That
He
is
did-
very appropriate.
Pirates of the Caribbean, I think, not the first one.
Yes, he did. He did one of them. But yeah, The Ring I found to be very, very scary. I enjoy
Did you guys
the
go ahead, Skyla?
I enjoy the Final Destination ones. I think those ones are fun.
Agreed.
Never seen them.
And,
Lonnon has.
And then I really
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Those ones were great. I saw them.
I really like the first Scream. I think that one is really fun.
Yeah, the rest of them were terrible.
They're filming another
Terrible.
one in town, in my town,
Huh?
or near.
Alright.
It's somewhere over here, either in North Carolina or South Carolina.
I know which one I was thinking of. I was thinking the Signs, or just Signs.
Oh,
not
Signs,
The Ring.
yeah.
Yeah, that one freaked me out when I was younger with Signs. No doubt about
Signs
that.
was stupid.
And that's what I was thinking with M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, I didn't like Signs, but I really like The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
And
The Sixth Sense was awesome.
Mike figured it out halfway through the movie. Unfortunately, he didn't tell
so
me.
did my wife.
Like,
She told me, she's like, "Oh, he's dead." And this was like in the first 5 minutes. after he
Spoiler
died, and I'm like,
alert.
yeah,
"What? No, he's not. He's interacting with the kid."
yeah,
No, I feel like an idiot afterwards.
yeah. And I'm like, I didn't catch it until the wedding ring dropped. When the wedding ring dropped, I was like, oh, and I like, took you long enough.
Oh, that's awesome. I just remember I took Ashley to go see Paranormal Activity 3, I think is the one that's based in Vegas. And we went and watched it in Vegas, obviously, when we lived there. And it just scared me to half a death because it was based right where we lived. And my wife will not watch a scary movie with me at all anymore.
Do you guys?
My wife wouldn't ever anyway. It was hard enough to get her to watch Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense isn't even it's not even like a horror movie, but
No, but it's psychological.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think about it. Like none of the.
You
Yeah.
can never
scared
watch
me,
Sixth
but
Sense again for the first time.
no.
That is
No.
absolutely true.
But the second time you watch it, you pick up on a whole lot more. It's like your
Totally.
eyes have been opened.
You're like, what? Gosh, how did I not see that?
But
I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen The Sixth Sense.
Oh, we've spoiled it
What?
completely for you. I'm really sorry.
I
We
already knew, and
we should
everybody
make
talks
sure there's
about
a
it, but I've never
spoiler
seen
alert.
it.
Yes, Barry, you have definitely seen it. You just
Yeah.
I
probably
was
don't
like,
remember
what,
it.
10 when it came out, or 8?
I know we watched it because one of the trips going back to the East Coast, we
1999.
watched it.
So I was 9 or 10.
Oh, but that's funny because I watched it in twin.
Yep, took Marie.
Yeah, I think you would come back.
That's weird. You want to know what the scariest movie I've ever seen is? You guys
Please
are,
tell
what's
me.
You guys are gonna
Please.
laugh at me. Enemy of the State. Will Smith, Gene
What?
Hackman. Scariest movie I've ever seen. I came out of that movie in tears
Why?
because my husband worked for the government.
I've
He
never
had
seen it, so I don't know the
top-
plot.
So the plot is Big Brother is watching all the time. They're bugging your phones.
Fact.
Very
all
true.
of it.
Yep.
And this is very
George Orwellian.
yes, very. And it was early 2000s. It was an early 2000s movie. And so this concept was a little it seemed
Little
a
much
little
for you.
well, it just seemed a little more realistic based on the technology that was emerging at that point. And so it freaked me out so much. Mike was laughing at me so hard. But I'm like, they could be listening to us at any moment, and you have top secret clearance, and they could kill you for what you know. And he's like, do you know how many people have top secret clearance? It's like everybody. Everybody you've met on the boat pretty much has top secret clearance, so it's okay. But yeah, that was the scariest. I think I've seen it one more time after that. But yeah, scariest movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Scary is
Yeah, I might have to watch it now because I'm super interested in it.
It was, let's see, Will Smith, Gene Hackman, Seth Green also is in it, who is my favorite.
1998, Skyla.
Was it really? No wonder I was freaked out. That would have been right after Mike got back from a deployment, his first deployment. We would have been one of the first movies we saw when he got back. So, and I was, 21 years old and away from home, and my husband works on a nuclear submarine, and it's scary. Yeah, he still makes fun of me for it 22 years later.
You're old.
I am. Oh my goodness, I am. I thought about it. When I turned 40, I was the same age Grandma was when I was born.
Wow.
Whoa. Wow. Like
40.
that's
Wait,
nuts.
say that one more time.
So when I was born, Grandma was 40. So when I turned 40, I was the same age as my grandmother when I was born.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing like that to make you feel old.
That's just crazy to think about.
So I just clicked on this link and it was like the top 30 horror movies. I'm like scrolling through here and I've heard of like 5.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well,
Give me
what's the one with the cat boy? What's that one? That one's
That's The Ring.
Oh, yeah. The one we just made fun of the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way we cope with it was making fun of it.
Hey, I had a great time making
Maybe
fun
I've
of it.
never seen that.
You know
one.
which one that Mike told me was the scariest movie he'd ever seen, and I laughed all the way through it? The Shining.
That's on here. That's one of the ones on the list. And The Shining was great. I will say. I did laugh through it. I will agree with you, Skyla. I thought it was hilarious.
And then I read the book.
The book is great.
The
I haven't
book
done
is
the book.
insidious. Like
Oh
the
my
book,
God.
Who's in The Shining? Is that Jack Nicholson?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Jack Nicholson, yeah.
Johnny's, here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah, because I read the books. I don't like any Stephen King's movies personally. The books are
Green
great.
Mile.
The
Oh,
Green
the
Mile,
Green
they did
Mile.
extremely,
Oh, so
extremely
good.
well.
Take
And
that
I
back.
But the
and
book
Shawshank,
is
too.
way better.
Well, the book is always
Yeah,
going to be
absolutely,
better. The book's
Not always.
Oh, that's
but yes,
true.
most
The
of the time.
only time I can say that the movie was better than the book is Mockingjay.
Yeah, Hunger Games.
Yeah.
The
Hunger
book
Games.
sucked.
Like the
100%.
last.
I thought they all were pretty terrible. I mean, the books and the movies, neither of them were.
Well, I really
They,
liked
they,
the
they
first
got way
two
more
books.
hype than they should have.
I really liked the first 2 books. And, well, it was the first kind of move on. So you've got a whole generation of kids who started reading with Harry Potter. And now they moved to Hunger Games, which is their young adult version. And so it was just a whole generation reading the same thing, which is why it got so much hype. But
Well, it was Twilight and Hunger Games.
yes,
basically
Twilight
the same
and Hunger
time.
Games. And so I really liked the first 2 Hunger Games books, and most of the third I enjoyed. But then it was like somebody handed the author $5 million and said, I will give you this money if you can finish this by today.
I would agree with that. You are correct. The first 2 were better than the third. I just didn't, like, after listening to a whole bunch of other books, they just weren't on par with what I'd been
Yeah.
listening to.
I agree. But
Well,
yeah,
I just reading it. I read the entire book, and I tell everyone that I don't recommend it. Like, have you read this book? Don't read this book. It's so terrible.
what it?
Yeah,
Like
I
Stephen
did,
King said?
yeah, I did not like the ending at all. Like at all.
I have not read it. I can't bring myself to do it. I can't.
Well, it's just the way they get out of the tunnels is really disgusting, and anyone that's read the book will understand it.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that, but we don't need to discuss it.
No, we'll move on past that.
And
What about
moving
like
on.
Silence of the Lambs?
Silence of the Lambs, I don't find to be necessarily scary. It's more of a thriller.
Even with the dude with putting on the skin
That's just gross.
suit. It is gross, but I mean, still, he takes these fat people and then doesn't feed them, so that then he has extra skin there. I mean, it's
yeah,
just like,
But see,
Ooh.
I saw Silence of the Lambs after I saw Men in Black. So every time I see the putting the suit on in Silence of the Lambs, I'm like, it's an Egger suit.
okay,
It's an Egger suit.
it's an Egger suit. Gotcha.
So it's not.
Okay, that makes
scary.
It's
sense.
a Shigawada.
I had seen it
Shigawada.
way before
Oh
that.
my gosh.
But you got to admit, I mean, Anthony Hopkins, he's creepy.
He
in that movie.
is the best
He's
actor.
a really good actor.
In my opinion, he is the best actor of our time.
Well, yeah. I was talking to
Yes.
my employee recently, and I was like, think about the actors that you can't think of. And I was like, the reason you can't think of them is because they are the person they play. Like Hannibal Lecter, it wasn't
Brad Pitt
Anthony Hopkins.
is
it was
always
Hannibal
Brad
Lecter.
Pitt.
you know.
Anthony Hopkins is whoever he decides
Yeah, well,
to be.
Actually, I don't know about Brad Pitt as much as you got
Nicolas Cage, absolutely.
Nicolas Cage starring Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
always.
Tom Cruise.
But Anthony Hopkins, he did the World's Fastest Indian. I mean, you can go through and you can see all the movies he's done. I mean, like he was Odin, in the Thor movies. He was.
Did
so
he
many
do?
things he's done.
Was he
that you're
in
just like,
Bucket
wow.
List?
No.
Yes, with
No,
Morgan
That's
Freeman.
Jack. It wasn't. No.
Was
that
it Jack
wasn't Anthony
Nicholson?
Hopkins. That was.
No,
I
Jack
think it was-
Nicholson.
Yeah,
I'm
Jack
sorry.
Nicholson.
No, I think it's Jack Lemmon.
No, it's Jack Nicholson.
Was it? Let's look it up.
I am right now. What was it again?
Oh, it is Jack Nicholson.
Bucket List.
Yeah, it is Jack Nicholson. You're right. I was wrong. Sorry.
Sorry, I don't know why I thought Anthony Hopkins and him were the same. My apologies.
Oh, that's an interesting switch up.
Okay, so one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
I've never
Not
seen
scary, obviously.
Not seen
What?
it. Nope.
I've never heard of it.
I thought it was
like
dumb.
Has
won a
anybody else?
million Oscars.
It's good. I've seen it.
I feel like that's kind of on. See, and I've never seen it, so I can't really make this assumption. But I feel like it's kind of in that same league as 12 Monkeys. If you ever saw the Brad Pitt 12 Monkeys movie,
I never saw that one.
it doesn't make any sense. Like none at all. Like you watch it and go, I don't know what just happened. What? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
it was just a movie. There really wasn't a ton of plot to it. I'll give you that. But like, it's funny because that's what the new Netflix series Ratcheted is based off of.
Yes, but I haven't seen one. I haven't even read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, so I don't even know what to base it on. But
I haven't read it.
Has anyone seen a recent, in the last 5 years, good horror movie?
It.
the ones. Yeah, I haven't.
It was that good, huh, Dane?
Yes, it was very tense, and I don't know if there were quite a few jump scares, but it got me a few times.
The Annabelle and the Conjuring. I thought those were pretty creepy. The ones with the nun.
The Conjuring was on that
I
list.
just don't usually watch them.
The
I don't
nun
like
ones.
scared.
I don't mind watching them, but I can't.
Agreed.
Like, I would, if I were gonna watch them, I was gonna watch them at night, and I'd probably be in bed and
Fall asleep.
I don't want my wife to end up with nightmares for the next freaking 3 weeks.
I just won't watch any of the satanic ones because it just makes my house feel awful.
Yeah, like Supernatural. Can't watch any Supernatural at all.
I agree with you
The
on that
show?
one. Ugh. Yeah, Supernatural is so satanic about things. Like they bring in spirits and talk about Christ and Satan, and any movie that talks about that stuff, I won't deal with. I told my wife, don't watch those movies in my house.
It just brings an
Huh.
evil spirit into the house. I feel the same thing, Baron.
All right.
Interesting.
But I love a good horror movie. Like, I will sit down and watch a good, like, when I'm out of town for work, I pull up HBO and I watch horror movies. Like, this entire month I've been traveling, I've been watching horror movies.
I don't like horror. Like horror to me feels bloody. I
don't like gore.
Yeah, I don't like gore.
Gory horror.
I like scary. And
Yeah,
to
that's what I
me,
mean.
gore isn't scary.
Yeah, like we're talking like Friday the 13th. You know, that's not scary.
Nah.
It's funny. I mean, let's be honest.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Saw.
I've never seen Saw, and I have no desire to do.
I actually like Saw a lot.
I haven't.
I
seen
don't
Saw.
like Saw
I
at
just
all.
know it's gory.
I saw the original Nightmare on Elm Street when Mom was Young Women's president in Reno, and some of her young women were babysitting me, and they had me watch it when I was like 10.
I watched
That's no good.
I watched Friday the 13th at
We're in
Steve
so
Blackburn's
much
house
trouble.
and had nightmares for probably 4 years
Ever.
straight. Like that's what got me saying my prayer.
Oh no, thank you. Yeah, it was.
Jurassic Park. That was the scariest
Are
movie
you
for me when
Oh,
it
serious?
first
we're
came
so
out.
good. He was
Hey, my
little.
wife still watches it behind a pillow.
The Mummy. I can't watch
Wait, watch
The Mummy.
what?
Oh my gosh, The
You
Mummy
can't
is
watch
one of my
Mummy?
favorite
Oh,
movies
see.
I've ever seen.
Well, I couldn't
love
watch
The
it when I
Mummy.
was younger.
I love The Mummy.
Jurassic Park. I still to this day remember my nightmares, and it was that stupid blue chair we had in the house in Twin. Me looking through the hole in the back of it and seeing dinosaurs walking through the back of
That's
our yard.
awesome.
I remember it. Like, very remember that.
That
It's so
is
just to get
scary to me.
Awesome.
I used to have nightmares of a Tyrannosaurus Rex eating me. This was in like the Walnut Orchard house, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I find it funny. My wife, to get to sleep, she'll listen to. There's a thing on YouTube that you can. It's the rainforest sounds, but with dinosaur callings in the background.
from Jurassic
It's
Park.
From Jurassic Park. That's how she falls asleep. And so I walk into the room occasionally. I hear like a pterodactyl flying by or something. It's so funny.
I used to have nightmares of. This is so ridiculous. I used to have nightmares of the alphabet screaming at me. I like each letter would walk up and scream its name. So A would walk up and go, A, and then B would walk up and go, B, and it would go all the way through the alphabet, and that's how I knew I
That
had
is
a
the
fever.
scariest thing ever.
Yeah, and that's how I knew I had a fever.
Oh, like when I've got a fever, me, just like everything slows down. My dreams are in like slow motion.
Do you guys remember your dreams? Like I don't have
No.
that
No.
happen
No.
very often.
Not anymore.
I sleep heavy enough that Like the only time I'll have a dream that I remember is if I wake up
And then go back to
and
sleep.
then I go back to sleep for another 15 minutes to a half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yep.
Then I'll have a dream. That's the only time. Okay, so
Yep,
real
same
quick,
for me.
for me, that movie was Arachnophobia.
Oh my gosh! I
Didn't we
forgot
see
about
that?
that one.
Didn't we see that at the drive-in?
I don't remember, but still to this day, like I always had. So I remember waking up in the house in Reno,
Yes,
downstairs,
and the
on
Black
Geiger Grade.
Widows.
the Black Widows. But there was literally,
Okay.
I remember just like laying down on the ground, and I was taking a nap, and I wake up and I open my eyes, and on a phone book next to me, not 6 inches from my face, was a Black Widow. Now, obviously, in my mind, I was probably 5 or 6, maybe 7, right? But I swear this thing was 2 inches in diameter. Obviously not, but it was a big sucker, and I remember that. And to this day, if my wife will kill a Black Widow for me, I'll let her.
Yeah, because I remember we do in the backyard, and you would freak out when we were moving those bricks over at Royal Legacy Lane, where we're doing the grass. I remember you freaking out about the spiders.
Like now, I can handle just about any other spider. Black Widow, still to me, you're like, no.
Well,
If I see a brown recluse, nope.
Do you
But
remember,
the rest of them
Lonnon?
is like, eh.
Do you remember, Lonnon, that we found a nest of Black Widows downstairs in that house?
Yeah, well, no, I don't. I don't remember that, but I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
And so that may have something to do with your Black Widow phobia. Mine is earwigs. Thank you, boys.
Yeah, those are kind of gross. I'm not
Earwigs.
gonna
We
lie.
don't have many here.
You and Dane, we have a ton here. And you guys told
They'll
me
crawl in your
they're
ears.
called earwigs because they crawl in your ears and eat your brain. That's what the pincers on the back are for.
So
I don't
mean.
remember saying that, but still,
I
that's,
do.
that's pretty funny.
It's evil. And even now, I'm like, I know they're named because they go in ears of corn, but I still...
Oh, that's why they're named? I had no idea
Yeah.
that's why they were named
I
that.
looked it up because it freaked me out so much.
Yes.
Well, that is daggum awesome.
It's
Well,
terrible.
sweet guys, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I hope you all, the listeners, enjoyed just getting to know our family and get to know the craziness that's happened in our lives. We'll keep it spooky for this episode. And Skyla, thanks for joining us tonight, and all the brothers, thanks for being on tonight. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, we're at King Ugly Crew. And then if you want to drop us a email with a suggestion for a topic you guys want to hear about, it's kinguglycrew@gmail.com. Catch you on the next one.
Stay ugly.